are.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Truckery Podcast. I am your host with my partner in crime, John Carrot from Carrot Customs, Devin here with OBS Solutions, and riding third wheel is Colin sitting over there, manning the computers, making sure we don't come off the rails. Thank you, Colin, for hanging out and making sure we don't come off the rails.
That's right.
We were just talking about Colin's gauges and what it takes to get there.
Do you think people know what Colin's gauges mean?
Are they considered a gauge, right, Colin?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an earring, but
It's an earring. Okay.
I was always under the notion like that they're called, but gauge is like the size.
Okay. I always refer to them as gauges. All right.
Yeah, that's what
They're freaking legit. Like that's legit status, like right there. Like,
yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, it's interesting to hear the story about them. You know, like they're pliable, and I learned something new today.
There's always something new to learn.
You're 100% right. Just like this little tykes that we just happened upon in South Carolina marketplace.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I left my my marketplace location to the last time we looked at marketplace.
Yeah.
And just clicked the home button, and this 2011 Little Tykes cozy truck popped up, and the seller's, it's in South Carolina. The seller's description says squatted Little Tykes cozy truck for sale, custom paint. And it is a Little Tykes truck with
300 miles on it, it says.
Giant.
I didn't know they had odometers.
That's the minimum mileage you have to put for a vehicle when you sell it on Marketplace.
300 miles.
Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that was a market for Little Tykes squatted.
I'm just curious what this... I want to know... Oh, there's more... There's no... Oh, look at that.
Check that out.
Yeah. It's basically just got like these extended arms on the front.
It looks like they're tack welded on. Like where maybe where the wheel used to go, they just extended it maybe.
I would not let my kid ride in that at all.
Structurally or morally?
Structurally.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody else thinks that is cool, then that's up to them. But
we're being somewhat PC today.
I guess.
We're not coming off the rails yet. I feel like Colin needs like a bullhorn or something.
There needs to be a red light.
Right. Like
you can like turn on like no.
Don't do that. Don't say that. All right, let's move on. We were going to talk about some stuff before we started Marketplace. We just came in hot with this one.
Well, we were getting ready.
Yeah.
And I was joking about like forgetting where my Marketplace is, and a squatted Little Tykes truck popped up, and if anybody's interested, it's in Simpsonville, South Carolina. It's quite hilarious. And I'm going to save a picture of this.
I feel like that's something you don't see in the Pacific Northwest as much.
Oh, I didn't get the whole
You might not see that very often. Am I wrong there, Mr. Colin? Probably something you'll see in Central Oregon. Let's be honest.
I don't think so. I don't think it's something that I've ever seen.
No, I would say not. All right, well, let's move on here. Let's talk about, I don't know, what we're going to talk about today. We have nothing on the agenda. I mean, usually we shoot from the hip.
We do, but we're also a little rusty, so we're working on that. I think we could do... I want to hear... So
you want to hear what?
You have finished a lot of big projects lately.
Yes.
And you're good at that.
My team is.
You and your team, it was basically the cowboy truck, then the Bronco.
Yeah, we did the Bronco. That wasn't like wide open.
No,
right. It was simple, but yeah,
they both keep progressing, or they all keep progressing.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Then after the Bronco was the blue truck.
Yeah. I think there was a place. I feel like there's a place for the F-150 scene. That's kind of why we did that. And it was a truck that had been around for a while that we had in our arsenal that Lisa loved. I was going to sell it. And so we started the blue truck, and we just now finished it up. We're starting to do the roller videos and all the BS for content. And we're all buttoned up with it. It runs and drives.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm stoked. It has some driving characteristics that are cool. It is fun to drive. It's fast. It's, I'm looking forward to... It's like you get done with something and it's like, okay, I'm ready to move on to the next thing. Like, right. So that was like a 1.5-year project, give or take. Full frame off, powder coated frame, all the BS. And now it's it is what it is, and it's great. We built 6 different products off of it, which is why we do it.
Right.
One of the reasons we do it. But I think we're ready to. I think we want to hit this. I'm really stoked to hit the. I want to do single cab short bed street truck, like calling like lowered stuff. I do too, but I want to do static coilover, like street truck, like total streetable, like big power manual trans. That's what I want to do next.
Manual.
Yeah, I want to be a manual, no auto. I want to be a like full on street truck with a. So I had that Ford Lightning for a heartbeat, right? Which I should have kept that truck.
I know.
Well, how many trucks do you have that you sell, right? And Colin, you've sold some stuff, right? And you're like, you look back, you're like, dude, why didn't I sell that thing? That was the stupidest idea. And it always sounds good in the moment. And we were like using that dollars for Lisa's 68 Bronco or 69 Bronco. Like, then she's like, nah, I'm done with that. And so I'm like, fuck, why did we sell that Lightning then? That was a cool truck.
White Lightning.
I love Oxford White. That's my go-to. So it's like, but I drove that thing several times, and it was so fun to drive. And I told Kenny, I'm like, we need a street truck. Like, I want a serious, like, 4-link in the rear, no TTB in the front.
Yeah.
I want to do our own, like a standalone front end for it that uses a rack and pinion, something more modern. And I really think Ron and I really want to crunch a V10 into it with
a V10
or not V10. I'm sorry, a Godzilla into it, and we want to do
I
want to do Godzilla. We've been talking about it for a while, and we want to do a manual trans behind it.
What manual?
I don't know yet.
What can you? Are there a plethora of manuals that you can put behind
that T50 or what is that one?
T56?
Yeah, or something like that, or
which is Tremec 6-speed.
Yep, exactly, something like that. I think it'd be cool to have a truck that's, something that's fun to drive, rip around. I don't think it needs to be pressed out in the paint and body world. I think the chassis needs to be all blown apart and going through. And you hop in it and do smoky burnouts, have a good time.
Would you set it up for drag races at all?
No, I'd make it. I want like a street, like touring kind of like be able to take it and like rip around corners and shit, not just go straight in not go fast in a straight line. The drag racing world, I don't really want to go fast in a straight line. I'd rather make it so it's, wide and low.
Are you gonna airbag or static?
No, it's static with coilovers. Front and rear is kind of what we've been talking about and kind of working on, kind of starting to ideas. We have the truck for it.
Right.
We have the truck already. It's been sitting in the barn, blown up.
Yeah.
And
with the 300.
The 300 that we just.
I can't believe you blew it up.
Well, it had like 300K on it, give or take. So it had a lot of miles on it. And Sean Raw had it. I had that truck has a history. I think I bought it and sold it like 3 times or something like that. And every time I got it back, it had been altered. And Sean Raw was the last to have it, and he lowered it into the Ford Explorer rear end underneath, so it's all tubbed out a little bit. It's like that half-assed kind of tub look to it, and it's on like 15-inch wheels, and it looks cool for the period, but the body is super straight. The bed's not dented up at all. It had a canopy its whole life, and it's an XL truck too, so it's like plain Jane with air conditioning.
Yeah,
and I think that's kind of cool. Everyone thinks they have to have like a XLT or a something special. I like to show people that you can take a XL truck that's plain Jane, no headliner. It's got a steel, top. And you can take that and you can make it cool. I think that'd be a great project.
So are you like committing to that it's not going to be a like full paint and like go as crazy as the blue truck?
Sure. At this moment.
Sure.
Yeah. The paint and body's great, and like the blue truck, it was over the top, and like the paint and body's amazing. The bed's been reworked. You look in the bed of it; it's brand new. But the problem with that is then you're kind of scared to drive it, right? Like then you're kind of like, wow, this kind of sucks to drive, or I have to worry about rock chips or chip sealing, or I was on the roads,
Yeah.
There's so much it takes away from the fun. That's why I think I love the Bronco so much.
Right, because it's not perfect.
It's not perfect, and there's some truth to that. Cowboy's pretty close to being. I mean, it's really straight, and it's kind of hard to take it over the pass when it's shitty.
Did you do the whole frame on that too?
We cleaned the frame and painted it by hand. We did not, at that point, we really weren't in the realm of like taking that all the way down to powder coating. We just painted it.
Okay.
So we didn't do that all the way, but we did the paint. The truck's been, the body's off it. It's been painted. The bed's all powder coated because, it's a flatbed. But I think it'd be cool to have a truck that you can hop in, that the body is like, the paint's a little bit like it's a single stage paint in XL trucks. So it doesn't have a clear over it.
All XLs were single?
That I know of. That's an expert opinion on that. I'm pretty sure that all XLs are single stage, but I could be wrong on that.
Okay.
And this is a 96 truck, so I would think by 96, that's pretty much the end of those getting close.
Yeah, I thought there were clears.
So that's a Sean Raw question on the paint world. I think he told me that they were single stage back then, but I don't know. I just know this one is.
I think my XL truck was the gold one.
Yeah.
I think it had clear.
Well, then maybe I got the derpy trailer trash one.
I don't know. Or it's just certain colors.
It could be. So I think it'd be kind of cool to keep it a little bit rough on the paint. Yeah. And just be able to hop in it, and it does gnarly stuff, and that's kind of what we're coming down the pipeline for us.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I think that'd be fun. But we're going to take a break. We're going to take about a year to kind of...
Oh, so it's not starting up soon?
I say that.
Until you just decide I need more to do.
Right. I think it'd be cool to have it ASAP, but, Lisa told me we should probably take a year to kind of like just breathe a little bit, because the blue truck was such is a big task for Oscar and the whole crew. It does suck some funds in areas that...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it does. Shocker, right?
That wasn't a free project?
No, we did not ask for donations.
Is there a way that
is there a GoFundMe?
Can show this, for those that are watching on the video?
Well, you can always just go to our OBS Solutions Webby site, or I should say our Instagram, I should say. Sorry. I think there's pictures of it. We haven't really shown a lot of that truck. We'll see if it's on there. If Kenny's doing his job. There it is right there. There's a couple pictures of it. I think if
they're videos, though.
They're just videos.
Everything is videos on your page.
Shocker, huh? It's almost like Instagram wants videos instead of pictures. Mm-hmm.
Your whole turkey...
Dude, that was Kenny's idea. That was not my idea. I have another idea for those sales.
You own the company, Devin. You own the company.
Right. There it is right there.
It looks good.
It does. It came out good. Thank you.
When you were talking about having a spare motor, though.
I do have a Man of War block, brand new.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 427 stroker motor. It is literally brand new, in the paper and everything, the box and all that stuff. I bought it from our machinist. He bought it for a project, never used it.
Nice.
And so that is... We were talking about, let's just gear up and put this in this truck. It'd be easy, mounts in, and I want to do a really gnarly fuel injection system on it. And then Ron and I are talking why don't we do a Godzilla? Some people are already doing it. It's not like no one's doing it. It'd be kind of cool. And so him and I have been talking about it. We go back and forth. Some days I say, no, let's use a stroker, the stroker motor, and you can put a hairdryer on it and make some serious go-go.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I can say, hey, today I decide this. Tomorrow I may decide something different. So I do know I don't want to stick with the TTB setup in the front end. It just sucks, dude. It's just...
Are you going to do a full chassis, or are you going
what's kind of cool is Scott's Hot Rod builds front ends for a lot of different applications. In fact, the 70s stuff, they build a lot of 70s dent side, bump side front ends, right? Well... No one's really cracked the code that I know of, not that I know everything, to do a independent upper-lower control arm with a rack and pinion for our F-150 series trucks. And I feel like if you had a bolt-in product, kind of like a Crown Vic front-end swap that a lot of guys do, then maybe people would push them towards to buy these trucks and do that, and show that, hey, there is a lot of stuff you can do with this little short wide trucks, or extended cab short beds, or whatever it is in the half-ton market, two-wheel drive stuff that is really fun to do. And I think the Crown Vicky stuff's rad. I just don't like that you have to use such a different wheel setup for the front end to get those tires, because it's so wide compared to
the trucks.
Correct.
Oh, interesting.
So if you look at the wheels that you're using,
you have to use a wheel that's got
that'd be a
really large back spacing,
right? To get it so that wheel's inside. And I've never liked the look of that. If I really follow a lot of the Ford Lightning pages, because there's a lot of guys taking Ford Lightnings and making them super cool and low, and street truck or drag truck, and they look pretty cool. But
yeah,
I don't know. There's some hurdles we're looking at, and I think it'd be kind of something cool to have in your arsenal. Like we do a lot of big 4-wheel drive trucks. What's to say like we don't start steering the ship towards the
2-wheel drive.
Right.
Yeah.
I just think it'd be kind of fun to have. Or
would you ever do 2-wheel drive 3/4 ton, 1 ton stuff?
I don't know. I don't really want that for myself right this minute. I do like the look of a slam dually. Can we agree that nothing looks as cool as a slam dually?
Oh, bagged crew cab long bed dually.
And especially like the Chevrolets in the 95 era.
Yes.
Nothing looks as good as like a slam Chevrolet, single cab, crew cab, extended cab, in the weeds, just laying rocker. Looks legit. Dually, right?
Yes.
So we always
even dually with a canopy.
Oh,
I like that.
There was a square body Chev at LST 3 years ago a square body Chev that I was just like, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So dualies, but I think there's a market for that too. I mean, I think that body style, our OBS body style, depending if it's lifted or lowered, I think people I know I like them.
I do too.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just our scene around here is 4-wheel drive-ish. Our environment,
our environment demands 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, but what's to say that you, Mr. Colin here has a lowered Audi and you just put away in the wintertime and you drive your badass ZR2, or just like you're like, hey, I had my Audi and I drive it only in the certain time. I think the same thing with our, the Valley. Hey, man, I don't drive it in the wintertime. I take it out in the summertime.
Right.
So,
but that can be any...
100%.
My Audi was a fantastic snow car, but
sure.
I just didn't trust other people, and I didn't like cinders. So
that brings me to a topic. Okay, Colin's sitting in the room here. He's got an older car that he loves and adores. You have vehicles that are worth a lot of money.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but you're working towards that now again.
Yeah.
You sold it to retool, come back up. But insuring our vehicles, that's a good topic to discuss.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Right? Because no one talks about that. How do we insure our trucks that we buy for a certain dollar amount? We put a ton of money into them, and then they get wrecked. And you're like, dude, I just put, $20,000 into steering and suspension, and my insurance company's only give me market value on this.
So I'll start off on this because I think I probably am the least experienced when it comes to this. But I use State Farm for insurance.
Okay.
I have a bundle, home and auto. And they said as long as I keep good documentation of why the car or truck is worth what it is, what I paid for it, what the current market value is, through showing other sales ads, I'm covered with full insurance.
Okay.
I think there comes a point in value where you have to have an appraiser come out.
Right.
And they help, with that. But I have always gone off. I've never had to file a car insurance claim ever in my life, or
knock on wood.
Home insurance.
Everyone knock on wood.
Uh-huh.
Everyone knock on wood. Call knock on wood behind you.
Yes. But that's where I'm at. When I finish this Duramax truck, I'm going to reevaluate because I think that one's going to be a little. It's probably going to be the most valuable vehicle I've ever had. But how do you do it?
We get them appraised. In fact, I've gotten the Cowboy truck appraised, the Princess truck, and we just had that appraised for $172K.
Wow.
If that's true or not, let's be honest with you. How do you appraise that? But
how did he say how he came up with
he had his whole facts and how he does it. This guy does high-end sports cars. He's out of Portland, so I figure he knew his shit, right? I mean,
yeah.
I had a different guy appraised Cowboy and the other truck, but I don't know if that's ever going to hold up if they ever got wrecked and totaled out. Let's be honest.
Who's insuring them?
We use a State Farm, but they use a second party
to insure the high value vehicles.
But I will tell you this: Brian Castleman had a hailstorm come through and annihilate that truck of his.
Yeah,
right. He called me afterwards, and that truck is amazing. Annihilated it, and the money he got for it was amazing. That was without aftermarket car insurance. That was just standard full cover. He had just coverage on it, and they paid out, and they didn't total it out, which is amazing. But they paid for the paint and bodywork, and I've seen this on another couple other vehicles that customers have called us on and said, "Hey, my truck got wrecked. I put these parts on from you guys. Can you give me some, like...
I've had that too.
Right? And the insurance companies are starting to pay out on this stuff because the value of these derpy old Fords that we love so much are starting to become worth so much that the insurance companies are now recognizing, which is another indication that these trucks are worth holding on to.
Oh, totally.
Right? So I think it's cool that we're starting to see this in the world of insurance, which tells me that holding on to these old trucks is the smart move. I don't think it's as good as Bitcoin. It depends on what you're into.
Crypto's been quite good.
It has,
last,
right?
30, yeah.
So,
yeah.
But it's definitely worth holding on to.
Oh, yeah.
And make sure you keep all your documents of what you've done.
Yep.
And take a lot of pictures.
Yeah, and save every receipt. You know, have a folder full
of all your stuff you've done.
Everything.
The more ammunition, the better, people. So I thought we'd talk about that real quick because this is the stuff that we're hearing on our end, the stuff we're discovering, and I think it's pretty cool that depending on I'm sure it matters on the insurance company too. I'm sure if you've got a cheap insurance company, it might not do the job, but I don't know.
I mean, I just have conversations with my insurance agent and say like, this, like, I think that this truck is worth this much based off of all of these, you know, receipts and everything. Mm-hmm. Are you guys going to cover that? And he's like, yeah, no, we will.
That's super cool.
But that's without an appraisal, and that's just talking to, I don't know.
You almost want to record that conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You want to, like, or have it in writing. Hey,
right.
You said this, and go from there.
Do you have a mileage limit on yours?
No, I don't. I see Kenny does on his, and I need to because I'm paying too much to keep these trucks without a mileage limit. That's a smart deal to have a mileage limit because then they won't charge as much, you know, to insure it.
Right, because it's mostly just sitting.
Right. You know, most of my stuff sits, and then Kenny just makes a phone call and then fires it up in adios. So, I mean, that's a smarter move.
And none of yours are under your homeowner's insurance?
No, they're on the business side. 2 of them are business, one's under home. So
no, but like if your shop burns down at home, like they have their own insurance as well.
Right, they're their own insurance.
Right,
but I think everyone does it differently.
Yeah,
I'm not an expert on that.
We've been meeting with financial advisor for stuff for the business and whatnot, and they wanted to quote our insurance, and figuring all of that stuff out is a nightmare.
Right. Well, I don't know. That's what we've discovered. We have had like Colin Nailers and other trucks that have come to the shop appraised too. So when we get them done, we get them appraised. That way the customer has the value of it before it hits the road or gets transported home.
Oh, you get it appraised for the customer?
Correct.
Do they request that, or do you
We tell them, we say, hey, you know, your truck's done. We're all buttoned up. Would you like appraisal? That way you can take that to your insurance before it leaves our facility. Oh. Which is smart because wouldn't it suck to like you pay all this money to get a truck done?
Yeah.
And then you either have most of our trucks get transported now home.
Okay.
And you say if they're not close in Washington area,
right? Because
we're starting to transport everything because of just how sketchy the path. Like there's too many variables,
right?
And so like we always tell people like we'll get you an appraiser, come out, we'll arrange it while the truck's here, we'll get it appraised after we're done, and then you can take that info to your insurance person before it leaves our facility. Then it can be insured while it's on the road.
Interesting.
Well,
so
because I always think like wouldn't it suck though? Like hey, we got your truck's all done. It leaves, or you drive it home, someone T-bones you.
Yeah.
And then you're out all those dollars. I don't.
How does the appraiser look at like what you've charged?
Correct. He looks at what we've done, you know, how to come in, we take pictures before we work on it, and then it shows after. And so he knows kind of like what the baseline was and where we've gone.
Okay.
You know, so some are simple, some aren't like the blue truck or some.
So you do all of them?
We're trying to do the ones that are getting expensive.
Right.
And we ask customers if they want to do that or not.
Do they pay for the?
Yeah, they pay for the appraisal.
How much does that cost?
It's like $425.
Oh, it's not bad.
No, I didn't.
On a big project like that.
Yeah, and that way, it's at the shop. It's undercover. The guy can come out and look at it. I think it's just kind of a smart idea.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. I think about that with one of the customer trucks we have here right now.
I just fear, like, how many times you hear stories of, like, people, new vehicles or old vehicles, regardless, but they get hit by someone that's a DUI or no insurance or someone not paying attention. And, insurance gets sketchy. At least if you have some documentation, it's worth something.
I know. I'm always afraid of insurance.
Right. So anyway, that was my takes on that. I don't know. Maybe some people have had some better experiences. Maybe have had worse experiences. Maybe they can make comments and let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe they have better ideas.
Yeah. If you have an interesting way of insuring your rig.
Right. Let us know. Is it through hot rod insurance? Is it stuff that's like maybe cheap and affordable? Maybe it's not as
well, and
bad.
I've tried that with Haggerty or there were a couple other ones. And at the time, I was still driving mine a lot.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you can only do like 2,000 miles a year. I'm like, well.
That makes it tough.
I still drive this like more than that. And they didn't, it's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Because if you get caught driving more.
Then they're going to, like, would they dump you then?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, maybe some people can let us know. Maybe some listeners have better info on it than we do.
Totally.
So moving forward, what else we go on today?
I've heard people like tech info.
Okay.
And doing just a little bit of that would be, where are we at time-wise? Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of tech info and a little bit of marketplace.
Okay, so tech info, I would say, I think we've talked about doors and stuff. What's one thing for tech info that we've discovered?
You mentioned Dana 60 wheel bearings and brakes.
Okay.
Which is also Dana 50 TTB.
Sure, same thing.
Same thing.
In a lot of ways.
I mean, wheel bearings and brakes, it's the same thing.
Okay. It's going to be tough to, like, I'm sure we can figure this out. We're going to half-ass this because really we have no, like, we're not in the shop and showing this kind of stuff. But, like, repacking wheel bearings, it's something everyone should know.
Okay.
Especially on your boat or your equipment trailer or your truck.
Yes.
Like a repackable wheel bearing is something that everyone should kind of, like, learn or at least, know about.
So in order to get to that, you have to remove your locking hub.
Yeah.
Usually a bunch of bolts on the outside.
I like a bunch of bolts, yeah. Usually depends on how many, yeah.
Yeah, like what, 6?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
I think there's 6.
Yeah.
And then you've got your, what is it that, it's like a snap ring, but is there a technical term for that, like, long winding ring that holds the whole piece in?
It's not a snap ring. I'm going to call it a boingy spring.
That's what you call a coil spring from suspension.
Yeah, Ford uses a lot of different goofy stuff in their hubs depending on the years, right?
Yeah. And
it is a spring that you take a flathead screwdriver, you pop it down, and you walk it out. And it's not a snap ring where it's like a 3/4 moon. It's like overlaps on itself. It's made of really thin metal. What would you say? What gauge metal would that be? It would be like...
I don't even know.
It's super thin.
It's above tinfoil.
There you go. That's pretty good. And so you walk that sucker out. And then depending on your hub setup, if you're running autos or manuals, oh man, this is tough. I love how you picked this one for a tech one.
Well, Colin's got the video going to just be rolling of the Dana 60 teardown.
There you go.
Granted, this is a Kingpin Chevy, but
close enough.
As far as like brakes and wheel bearings go, like this is the same thing.
The hubs definitely are a little bit the same in a lot of ways.
So, and let's note, one of the main reasons to know this is obviously repacking your wheel bearings is important. Make sure everything's good there. But secondly, unlike the next generation of Dana 60s or Ford trucks and most all current modern vehicles, in order to change your rotors, when you do a brake job, you have to pull the hubs.
Yes.
And you have to,
knock out the studs, separate the rotor from the hub, and then put it all back together.
And it's not that complicated.
It isn't, but it can be daunting, and it can be a little bit overwhelming, depending on if you've done it before or not.
Exactly. So you pull the hub, get that interesting snap ring-esque part out.
Right.
If it's TTB, you've got a snap ring on the actual shaft.
Yeah.
I don't think, do 60s?
Do the same.
60s are the same, yeah.
Right.
They're the same from the hub out. Then you pull that whole thing out, and then you're down to your wheel bearing lock nuts.
Now this is really simple because they use double nut with keeper in the middle.
Correct.
Now the first nut, just you take the first nut off. You will need a special tool for that.
I don't remember the part number.
Oh, you really, I thought you were going to bust that out. I was going to be impressed.
Dude, if I could do that.
Right. So you will need a Ford tool to pop that out. And then once you pop the first nut loose, then there's a keeper. You pop that out.
With a couple picks.
Yep. And then you pull the second nut off, and it's got a tit on it. Make sure you don't reverse that when going back together, because you'll grind that tit off of there.
Because the first nut and the second nut look the same,
right?
Except for that one little nub.
Yep, correct. So then you're going to pull that nut off of there, and then your wheel bearing comes out.
Yes.
Your outer.
Exactly.
It's really simple.
Then you pull the whole
hub assembly off.
Hub assembly with the brake rotor off.
Yes.
So at this point, if you're, the right way to do it would be to pound out get
a video.
Yeah, that's
a legit video.
This video's got it all.
Yeah, this is good. Even though it's not a Ford front end.
I mean, it's a Dana 60,
which is about the same animal.
Yeah.
There's your axle nut.
Yeah.
Oh.
He paused.
So anyway, thank you, Colin, showing him taking the nut off there.
Yeah, it is. Those
same
are
animal.
The same.
And here he's going to take the keeper off, and then that nut right there has the tit on it. Okay, pause real quick here, Colin, if you don't mind. One thing you have to remember, people, that second nut should not be very tight.
No.
That's how you burn up wheel bearings. This is a very common thing, is that people think, and it's basically the same when it comes to repackable bearings that are not sealed, that the ballpark is that first nut when you go back together. Here's a theory I was taught.
The nut that rides up against the outer wheel bearing.
Yep. It should always be, I was always taught that you tighten it pretty tight. You roll you spin the rotor or the hub assembly, let it seat, and then you back it off, and then you just go hand snug. Not even snug, just barely.
Just like a little resistance.
Just a
that's the best way of putting it.
And a bearing will live looser rather than tighter.
Yes.
The tighter the bearing is, the less it will live. In fact, we've seen more wheel bearings get eaten up by people over tightening that first collar nut.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Everyone thinks they need to be tight. Don't ever do that. It's the same thing, and it's the same thing, like I said, on your boat trailer, utility trailer, anything with a repackable wheel bearing. That nut that holds that outer bearing in should just be
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that a good illustration?
After you do the
seat it, loosen it,
back it all
the way off. Just
I think that's a good. It makes sense to me.
Right. So roll that good bean footage there. We're gonna let it play out here, and it'll show you. He's gonna take the last nut off there,
which doesn't even need a ratchet.
No,
loosen.
It shouldn't. But he used one, which scares me.
Well,
but
just rebuilding it.
Oh, that's true.
For a reason.
And you're going to pull the hub assembly off after you look at this great commercial from Airbnb. And and so anyway, oh, wow. That's a hell of a commercial for Airbnb. I didn't really know they were hitting that hard. Oh, AI. Oh. So here you're going to see the gentleman pull the hub off, which looks just like a Ford hub, by the way.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
The calipers look very similar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So at this point, if you're changing, well, now we're going to get into the full teardown, which
we can go past that. That's another day.
That's another day. But you'd want to have a new wheel seal.
Yeah, because
you're going to pop that rear wheel seal out.
Right.
And then what is your preferred method for packing wheel bearings?
We have a wheel bearing grease packer at the shop, but if I'm at home doing simple stuff for when I get a new dirt bike every year, I always repack the steering stem and the steering linkage or the linkage by hand. You ever do that trick? Colin, you probably know this one, where you take grease in your palm of your hand, right? And you force the bearing into it, old school. Yep. You'll probably find YouTube videos on it. I still think that's one of the most successful ways of repacking a bearing.
I like that more than a bearing press. I will, on customer rigs, we hand repack the bearings.
To me, it is very simple, and everyone should know it. Because you don't have to have an expensive wheel bearing packer available. You can do it by hand. You just like run the grease in your palm of your hand. You can see the grease come through the rollers of the bearing.
Yeah. So you're holding the bearing with
it's like you're holding a donut, right?
The taper, yeah.
It's like you're holding
the tapered end up
yep.
towards you.
Either way.
And then you have a glob of grease in your hand.
The palm of your hand.
In between the retainer, isn't that the outside?
The cage.
The cage?
Yeah.
And the
race.
And the race.
I would think that would be the outer race.
You're forcing grease through that until it comes all the way up past the rollers and out the top in between the cage and the race.
Next time we're together, we'll just do that for a video.
Sure.
We just go in the shop and show people like the old school way of doing it.
Yeah.
Or you can go online. I'm sure on Amazon you can buy a wheel bearing repacker. Just make sure the grease gets through all the bearings. I'm sure you could find one on Amazon really cheap.
Oh, yeah.
And that'll do the job too.
I have one for my boat trailer bearings.
Yeah. So, and then repack your bearings, and the one thing is you have to look, like, if you're going to repack them, great, but make sure that you're not missing that your bearings have hard face failures.
Yes.
Okay, so what is that? I always look at the race. The bearing race, that's once you pull the bearings out of the hub, the inner races, I make sure there's no pop marks in it, or I call them chicken pox.
Yep.
Rough feeling when you get the grease all wiped out and brake cleaned out. And make sure see, Colin's got pictures of all kinds of Napa sells them, Wilco sells them, Amazon sells bearing repackers, so you don't have to do them in your hand.
Easy.
Yeah. So it's well worth having.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And so make sure the races are clean, and then check, like I said, make sure the hard faces haven't disintegrated, because that'd be a waste of your time.
And you can usually see that also on the rollers of the bearing.
I usually see it first, though. Maybe like you guys have seen it too, right? Like I always see it on the race first before I see it on the roller of the bearing.
Really? I feel like the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I see a lot of rollers that are pitted. What do you?
I think I've noticed the race first.
Race.
I always look at the races. I can never, it's really rare on the rollers so much as the bearing race itself. But I don't know. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
But so make sure, people, that you look at that. I like how the guy's using vice grips right there. That was
pulling kingpin bushings out.
Oh, love it. Anyway, so that's some info, and then like I said,
So brake rotors.
Okay.
To get your brake rotors out, you have to hammer out your studs. I like using an air hammer because it's like a quick.
Okay. I like using a dead blow, a brass dead blow.
Yes, so you don't mushroom.
Yeah, so don't mushroom the end of the stud, because that happens.
Yep.
But your air hammer one is good because actually your stud has a divot in it.
Yep.
That's set up for air hammer.
And you just knock all 8 of those out.
Yep.
And then you can separate your hub from your rotor. Put your new rotor on.
Then you need to set those studs back through to capture the rotor. How do you like to do that, John? Air hammer again?
I like to start them with an air hammer.
Yep.
And then I like to use a standard lug nut.
Okay.
Flipped over where the cones or the tapered side
so it sucks the stud through
out, and you put a bunch of washers down because the lower end of that stud isn't going to have enough threads to fully pull it through.
Okay.
Just put washers down and impact gun that thing in, and watch the backside until that stud is all the way through.
Yeah.
Or using a press. But
yeah.
That's the way we do it. What about you?
We usually do the air hammer to seat it and then press it.
Yeah.
But press is like, if a person doesn't have a press, you can always take it to a machine shop and they'll press them in. Or like you said, a nut works good. Just make sure they're seated. We're not curing cancer here, so I would say that works as well. So all this stuff's doable at home.
But you have to have washers underneath.
Yes, so
otherwise you're going to torch the nut and the stud.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think all this stuff is doable at home.
Totally.
With some simple hand tools.
And then you put it all back together, look up how to set the wheel bearings,
right,
and torque it down.
And like I said, setting the wheel bearings is easy because you just give it a
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's just adjusting until the collar lines up with
the keeper.
Yep. And then you put your second
nut on. That one you tighten.
And that one gets tightened real tight.
Oh no. What do you think?
150.
Is it that much?
Oh yeah.
I've always just gone
Really?
I don't know. I just hit it hard with like a breaker bar.
How do you do you ever remove them with the socket
hammer?
on an impact?
No, because it usually fucks up your tool.
I've broken a couple
Yeah,
sockets.
I've never done that with the air hammer because it usually fucks up. It takes the teeth right off that socket.
Yeah.
There's nothing, like, it's not meant for it.
I learned that, but I still do it. I'm like, I'm not risking breaking my knuckles on this, like, depending on how much they torque this outer nut down.
Maybe that's why my hands look the way they do when you're stuck. I mean, you're smarter than me.
I don't put them back together that way, but I'll take them apart that way for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Dude, we get TTB beam cores,
right?
And none of the wrecking yards want to take the time to disassemble them, so we have to disassemble full, complete TTB front ends.
I bet Grant is so happy when they show up. Grant is probably like just ecstatic.
I do them because
really?
I know how much it sucks. Or I call Ben Palmer's kid.
Yeah, come down.
Like, hey, I got some work for you if you want to make some cash. Then
come beat your knuckles to the.
Yeah, Grant's too valuable to be burning him out on disassembling TTB front ends. But yeah, when you're doing that many, it's like it needs to be quick.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
Well, you do a lot.
Oh yeah,
that kit sells a lot.
It sells a lot,
which is cool,
and it is my favorite. I love it.
Well, would that cover our tech stuff?
Sure.
Would that do it?
Yeah, that
Colin,
was longer
is that good enough?
than I expected.
All right, moving on.
And to cap it,
good.
Look up, like, there's plenty of videos on YouTube, and it sounds like you guys are going to be doing more DIY.
We are. We've
like
really been
videos.
Yes, we've been really messing up, especially on setting doors, adjusting doors properly, replacing hinges.
I think that'll be really good.
Yeah, I think so. Kenny and I need some more things to do, I guess, in the evening, so we'll hit that one hard. So,
besides just taking each other out to dinner and drinking wine.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. 100%. He's definitely a wine snob. Are we ready for Marketplace?
We're 42 minutes in.
I want to hit Marketplace hard.
Okay.
I want to go somewhere.
Where do we want to go?
Not the South. Like, let's go someplace. Let's see. Let's go New York. Let's do something in. Where would we go in that part of the world?
I mean, New York is not that big, I don't think.
No, it's not. But I was just thinking of our buddy Mark Vega. And what he experienced
in Chicago.
Oh, that's right, he's in Chicago. I knew that. Let's do Chicago.
Okay.
Let's do Illinois. I was thinking Mark. Let's check it out. Let's see what's in Chicago for just the truck scene in general.
He's slightly outside. I think he's in Peoria.
Is he?
I don't know. No.
I just know he's in an area where rust is very prominent.
Yeah.
That might be the whole area.
Mark is a rad dude.
He's a very interesting fellow and just a superhuman.
Dude,
look at all the excursions. Like, look at your feet. It's all excursion stuff.
That's what happens when I'm shopping for an excursion. My whole, I've been shopping for 99 to 04.
Can we talk about the $449,000 2010 MTI 44 Corvette Z00 or Z044? What is that?
That is
the boat or is that the toter?
For the Lake of the Ozarks. For sure.
Check that out. I feel like the Lake of the Ozarks is something we should experience.
Oh, that would be cool.
It's like bigger than Shasta, right?
Dude.
Way bigger.
Like our size boats. I mean, yours is bigger than mine,
just be tiny there.
Like wake boats
are
small boats.
Compared to,
And you can have these gigantic boats go by.
Cigarette boats,
just throw big old rollers.
Hey, you two gentlemen ever watch the show Ozarks?
Oh,
no?
yeah.
Was that not gnarly?
That was.
Can we talk about how gnarly that was?
54,000 acres.
54,000?
Wow.
What's Shasta?
Hold, please.
I
mean, that show was so cool.
Yes.
Ozarks was it would make your stomach turn.
There were points. Did you notice they made the actual viewing of it? It was more grayish, bluish. The way they edited the film.
30,000 is 20,000. Is that 20,000 more? 25,000. Wow,
that's almost twice the size.
That's impressive.
It's huge.
So we all need cigarette boats. So it sounds like to me.
Dude, I would love that. I see that
You're a boat guy.
I am
100%.
my boat, my feed, but I go in phases. Like I look at boats all the time that I can't buy, so I stop. And then I'm like, no, maybe I should tempt myself some more. I'm like, no, I still can't buy this.
I always like Gary's stuff on his boat scene. Totally different scene, river stuff, suck my wake boats. You know what I mean? Like, go fast.
Yep.
It's like a drag cart for the water.
My dad was big into the like Colorado River, Parker, Arizona boat stuff back in the day.
It's so cool.
It's like an LA County fire guy sort of thing.
Is that kind of a thing down that area? It's like the river scene?
You travel up to the river and you go, to Parker.
Okay.
And wherever the London Bridge is.
Oh.
I can't believe I'm spacing the
That's okay. I just know that Gary was telling me about that scene and how everyone's like, that is, I'm like, are you serious? People still buy those boats like this?
Oh, yeah. It's big.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
But like that boat right there is next level. That's
let's read it off.
Okay, go ahead.
So it's 2010 MTI 44 Corvette
Z06.
They want $450,000 for this. It's one of a kind boat. It was themed after a special edition Z06 Vet with all the original GM parts used in the build. Fresh from Mercury 1075 to 1200 horsepower dual fuel engines. Oh, so
dual.
There's a couple, 1200 horse engines.
Okay.
With number 6 drives. Also include our 2 large 12-inch Garmin GPS navigation monitors, all the stuff. And it is, I don't know, does it even say, we could read about this for a long time.
Don't just look at the pictures. Like if you have a truck like that to pull it, then you have serious FU money. If
you have to load your boat onto your trailer at an angle,
right, so
that you can make it down,
you made it in life.
Road.
You're like, well, I got a wakeboard boat. And you're like, hey, motherfucker, do you load it at an angle? You're like, I don't. Well, then you're really just small potatoes.
You have 2 1200 horsepower engines powering your Corvette themed boat.
No, better yet, do you have a medium duty truck to pull it, crew cab? With some spicy wheels on it with a little fin on top. I don't. I'm
just curious, how much do you think the gas bill for this boat in 1 hour is?
I think if you have to ask, then you shouldn't buy it.
I know that. Right. I know, but I'm just curious. Like, how much gas is two 1200 horsepower engines, running not even wide open
per hour
across the lake? Like, how much
would it be? Would it be like $200 an hour? Would it be something that gnarly?
Oh, for sure.
I would think it would be.
Yeah.
Like, just wide open, like, hey, we're just going to, like, send this thing at Mach whatever.
Well, not even wide, just, like, cruising.
Okay, cruising at, like, 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's a little slow. Let's say we're cruising at, like, 60.
I would think it'd be $100, $150. Easy. I think you drop that kind of coin just instantly.
270 gallons per hour at full speed.
270 gallons per hour. And to make it easy, because 270 times, let's just do $5, because you got to be running race.
Yes,
or like a high
premium, at least something.
$1,350 an hour.
Oh, I was way off. I was way off, bud.
Hey, wild.
I feel like the person that owns that owns a chain of restaurants or something, like Domino's Pizzas things or something like that. Like, I started with one, I got like 10 of them now. I bought this boat.
Or they sell white, powdery stuff like powdered sugar.
Well, they're definitely not selling OBS truck parts. No, let's be honest on that
definitely not.
Okay, let's move on here. Anyways. What else are we looking at? I see a bunch of excursions, but let's just should we just type in OBS Ford and see what comes up?
I like that. Yeah. The excursion part of
there's some good looking excursions.
I know. I can't afford those ones, and I already have one now. So.
Oh, there's some hideous things here. There's a Bronco that looks cool. We can scroll down. Like, we don't have to take the top picks. We could actually like surf a little bit here, see what's out there.
Surfing.
There's some rusty stuff there. Wow.
Ooh.
Check that out.
That Bronco.
Yeah, hit that. Let's check it out. There's no fenders left.
Okay, this Bronco is in...
It's hard to look at.
Winnemac?
Winnemucca?
Winnemac.
Winnemac, Illinois.
No, Indiana.
Oh.
I think it's within
close
the
enough.
radius.
We're just like road close enough. We're just gonna send it.
It says 1996 Bronco XL. Making changes to the post because I have over 200 messages on this truck. That's impressive.
See the mileage?
157,000 miles. First one to bring me 2,200 cash gets it. No holds, no trades, no questions asked. 151,000. It's got a 351 auto, runs and drives, has power steering link.
It looks like a
first picture.
It looks like a Bronco on meth.
It is red, and it's severely rusted.
Is that a bad analogy? But it looks like a Bronco on meth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it looks like it's missing teeth.
Yeah, it's had a hard, and that probably, 157K is it?
That's from eating too much salt.
Oh, that's so sad.
Just kidding. Or it's from driving too much salt.
That sucks.
Okay. Paint match topper.
Okay.
That's not a factory thing, right?
I don't know on that one. I'm not going to speculate. I don't want to sound like an expert. What?
It's very, very rusted.
I think that's an understatement. I he gets all these messages on this. Maybe that's a good deal for that?
I don't know.
I'm surprised I saw his rockers right there.
It's an XLT. Yeah, I know, right? But you can see, look at even the color of the floor mat.
It is really hard to look at this. It sucks.
Oh no, that floor is all rusted out.
Oh, that is hard to look at. Oh, no carpet in the back.
With the Mexican
blanket? What do you call
blanket?
That? Yeah.
Yeah, what are those called? The seat covers?
I was thinking Skylar still wears those as a poncho.
Oh, I do too. I like those.
You like those? Okay.
When I go to Mexico, or
that's what you wear, huh?
To,
yeah.
No, I'd buy them. They're comfortable.
You should get Skylar a couple more when you come back. He's always got a couple of...
I'm always trying to figure out what to get Skylar
for Christmas.
Now I know.
Interesting enough. Anyway, this is hard to look at for us people that don't deal with rust.
No.
And I'm sure there's a bunch of people that go, "Oh, that's normal for our area." Check out this down here in the right hand corner. The Centurion.
Okay, I like that.
That's
about to post a Centurion for sale.
The brick nose in the back?
Is
it an aero nose? Oh, I didn't know
93.
That. Okay.
This thing looks clean.
This does look clean.
You need to take the lead on this.
Okay, so what we have here is a Ford Excursion. Wow. Wow.
It kind of is.
It kind of is. Centurion, which is four-door Bronco, if you will. I know that's a bad way, but it's a 7.5 automatic trans, 2-speed mechanical four-wheel drive. It sounds like this is looking at this,
yeah.
I bet it's a dealer or someone like that.
Well, it says 4x Motor Company is pleased to offer this ultra rare.
Yeah, look at the backdrop.
It is a C350.
Check out the backdrop where they have all these OBSs in the back. They're slinging OBS Fords.
These guys have talked to me before. They wanted suspension for a couple trucks.
Who is this?
4x Motor Company.
Well, let's just click on the pictures here.
They're nice guys.
How many miles are on this thing? 133K.
And it's the C350 version, which Grant could tell me the details on it, but I believe the Centurion 150s.
Okay.
They were cut frames that were welded together, so the wheel in the rear wheel well area is better aligned, but they're a cut frame. And the 350s are like an extended cab short bed frame and not cut.
Okay.
So the wheel alignment in the back is not as accurate.
So it's a little bit off for the center of the wheel well.
Yes.
Okay.
But they are not a cut frame. They're like a legit, 3/4 ton, 1 ton frame.
Okay.
With the Dana 60. I could be getting that wrong. Grant would be able to tell us.
It's interesting. You don't see that color combo very often.
No, the black with the gray
on the bottom.
Stripe. And for anybody that's interested in not watching the video, it's located in Elkhart, Indiana for $55,000.
$55K on a 460 truck. Classic. I've never seen. Huh.
Polished Alcoas.
I hope they have frame pictures here.
Yeah, that would help. I think they get trucks from all over. That core support's been replaced.
It's definitely,
unless that's what Centurion would do.
I don't know that info, but it definitely is a different color than the vehicle, which makes you kind of wonder. And it's not a mass air.
Okay.
Oh. I love the wood paneling screwed to the side of a factory door panel. Nothing screams custom than that.
What was it?
All those guys do that. Like, hey, let's take some like.
That's because the Audis of that era
Did the same thing?
fancy car. No, they
say.
came with that from the factory. Like that was a nice, prestigious car thing.
To have wood.
The derpy. Yeah, Burlwood.
So I remember Justin and I were working on a Mercedes, or I think it was Mercedes, and we had to replace the center console piece around the heater controls. And they literally said in Mitchell, in the repair things, you'll need woodworking tools to work on this wood piece surrounding the heater and radio functions.
Way.
Yes, it said you'll need woodworking tools. It literally said that on a Mitchell.
That's wild.
Yeah. But this right here, all you need is some sheetrock screws and some it cracks me up because people like get so sideways on these conversion trucks.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, the paneling with the wood like rocks and it's not like sturdy. It's just like they screwed it right to the fabric.
Yeah, you just put a nice, veneer over it.
You know what?
Screw it in, and
you're missing the mark here. You can get your Plaz out. You could Plaz out some metal in even aluminum, if you will.
Yeah.
Take your orbital and just stick it to door panels and go custom.
Oh.
See what I'm saying here?
That would also require all of my links to be fabricated with lots of tribal designs.
You know what? I think you're missing a market here, John.
I've been told that.
And actually check out the carpet. Does that look factory carpet? It doesn't. Or maybe they did a different carpet back then.
It does look like it's a little more plush.
But it does have your I call those.
They folded up the dash mat to show the dash pad,
which is cool.
I appreciate that a lot.
But did you go back to the motorhome seats?
Which those are just like Centurion seats, right?
Yeah, but you could find those in motorhomes, right? Which cracks me up. Like everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, this is Centurion." I'm like, "They're motorhome seats, bud." Like they had those in like your Winnebagos of the day, which are comfy.
Yeah.
Like they do the job.
They are good.
They are good, but I don't think they're as cool as a factory Ford seat.
My 73 Ford had seats like that with the center console with the wood cup holder area.
Okay.
And when I did the Cummins conversion with the MB 4500, certain shifts it would hit the wood area, so I just like took my saw and notched out the wood and then sanded it.
See, right there, you need woodworking tools.
Woodworking tools. And it worked.
Do you have an orbital? I do.
I do.
Do you have a planer? Yes, I do. Let's plane the shit out of this. Yeah, dash pad, low miles on the dash.
133
on a 460 truck.
And those windows. 460s like to bang the rev limiter.
They weren't a mass air, but they still were kind of cool.
It's a slow. Have you hit one to the limiter before?
I don't know if I have.
It's very slow and anticlimactic. It's like,
are you like watching your clock, or like you're watching your phone, like you're like watching?
It's not like a modern tuner car where it's like wah pop 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 pop. It's like it's very sluggish.
Sure,
but it's fun to do, and they handle it well. I know from experience.
And we got motorhome seats in the back.
Yeah,
second row,
classic.
same thing.
Oh, but this is the
third row seating.
It's a 92, so it's got hand crank rear windows. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't they do that until like 93, 94?
I thought it was 95. Yeah, somewhere in there.
And
I mean, it's pretty clean.
This? It's got rear heat.
Yeah.
Maybe rear AC.
Yeah, it's very clean.
It's not bad.
For $55,000. It could be yours.
And if you're interested in a Project Centurion, I have one you could get for $6,000.
Oh, it's a bargain.
With a Power Stroke.
With less rust, if this has any rust.
This one doesn't look rusty.
No,
this
it doesn't. Is that a Texas plate on it?
Yeah. No, it might be Indiana dealer.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah, it's not bad.
Check it out, everyone. In Indiana, Elkhart, Indiana, for $55,000 if you really want a spicy vehicle. There's some cool stuff here. I don't know if it's not rusted out.
I don't know that I would go. You know that you live in a rusty area when your main picture starts with under the truck.
I would think that'd be a selling point in that area.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Let's just take a look at this. In Salem, Indiana. 94.5 F-250.
Like I said, it's not an IDI. For
Hey,
all the people, like, that is
you.
perfect. Thank you. Like, that guy gave us an illustration, like, it's not an IDI.
Starts with a picture of the frame and the rocker area underneath the driver's seat.
I feel like people are going to hate on us for saying it's not an IDI. Like, they're
Why?
like, you guys suck. You guys don't know how good IDIs are, blah, blah, blah.
You know how many of those people there are? Not many.
Not that we hate on you guys. We're just, like, appealing to the masses.
If they hate on us, oh well. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Okay. Making sense here. Oh, what's the bumper? It looks like is that like Bubba's front lip?
Custom.
It is very custom.
It's black.
And it's got Super Duty wheels on it. Early Super Duty wheels just makes you think it has Super Duty axles, like 9904 axles.
Yeah.
Right?
Now I see that. Maybe.
It's got some rust.
Yeah, I think this thing's been rattle can black.
Stroker on the sticker. Your windshield has a sticker on it that says stroking. Is that right?
Stroke something.
Stroke something. Colin, do you have a sticker on your vehicle indicating the powertrain stroking something on any of your vehicles?
If only.
Okay.
If only. Imagine these tires.
Well,
Look at those back tires.
Those are race tires. That's a street slick.
Compared to the front tires, this thing has done a lot of smoky burnouts.
Well, why wouldn't it? It's got a stack in the bed. I mean, it's got a stack in the bed. That just indicates it's a race truck.
And another Power Stroke P.
In case you didn't know.
You know,
because if I saw this, I'm like, ooh, is it an IDI or is it a Power Stroke? Oh, no, he's got the P on the back. It's a Power Stroke.
and the thing that annoys me with those stickers, I don't like any of them, but at least the Cummins one kind of makes sense because their emblem is the C, you know, like the giant Cummins
I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong here, but if you have to put a sticker of what engine you have in your truck, that's kind of lame.
Or what the car is in general.
Or what, correct, what the cars, like you saw like the Honda Civics having Honda across the front, you're like, we get it, we see the Honda emblem.
Yes.
Like, we understand it, bud.
Yep.
Like, are you sponsored by Honda? No. Are you sponsored by PowerStroke? Just saying.
I mean, I wish somebody would have a banner sticker of my brand.
Across the front, Carrick?
I'd be like, cool. That's awesome.
Are you sponsoring them?
No, just free marketing.
Okay, I can see that.
Like, if I was Honda and I see all these people...
Just sell the sticker, somebody will buy it.
Yeah,
that's
like,
true.
All right,
yeah,
cool.
You should do that. Okay, we've bashed that enough. Oh, it's got the little mini light bar in between, like, the hitch. You guys check that out?
Oh, yeah. You know, not a bad spot for it.
No, that would actually be functional until you run your trailer into it. Until you back in with your trailer.
Yeah, this is a real POS.
I mean, hey, Colin, on your podcast, do you guys ever talk about stuff like this?
Yeah,
okay. Okay.
Stuff.
All right. I like it. Just making sure we're not the only assholes in the room.
On the Campfire Passport podcast.
That's right. You want to do one more?
I could do one more.
All right, let's do one more. Pick a spicy one. Is that a...
Do we want a clean one?
I feel like we should end on a...
I think we need to end on a crew cab long bed dually.
Oh, okay.
No?
No, I'm down. I'm down. Uh-oh. Got some interference here.
It's Elon.
It's Elon.
I'm still... Got it. Oh. Part number for the Dana 60 4-prong spindle nut is 648477.
From a guy named Colin.
From Colin.
Thanks,
Weird.
Colin. Wow, you picked a gem, bud. You picked a fucking gem.
Part truck's not for sale.
Oh.
Okay.
Why is it on here then? Parting out a few of my old OBSs. Not everything is for sale, but what is IMK again, young guys? What does that stand for? You guys
it's
are young.
LMK. Let me know.
Let me know. Okay, sorry, we couldn't write that out. You know, what happened?
Sorry,
it's okay. I'm reading this.
Okay,
you know, we're gonna go down this rabbit hole. Let me know what you need. All 7.3 Power Strokes, diesels. Okay, so let's just take pictures here of what parts he has. Let's see here.
It doesn't look like a half bad crew cab long bed dually.
No.
Green. Crew cab long bed red. I don't see, rust holes in the fenders yet.
There's a bullnose right there that I would discuss, though. That's what I would talk about.
A crew cab bullnose?
Yeah.
Enrique's done very well on crew cab bullnose.
Yes,
trucks.
he is the king of the bullnose market right now. Wow, this thing looks rough.
They're
maybe
parts
the
trucks.
Yeah, I mean,
We can't end on this.
No,
I'm
this
sorry.
sucks.
Let's move on.
What about that little half ton, that F-150?
This one?
100, which is a very cool color combo.
I like this a lot.
It does kind of concern me. It's at a used car lot, though.
It's 96 Ford F-150, $9,000, listed 3 days ago in Trevor, Wisconsin.
Okay.
178,000 miles. It's at a car lot, so you don't really get a good description. And it's white. Would this be an Eddie Bauer? White,
I believe
with the
so.
brown.
It looks like an Eddie Bauer.
Lower side. It's got factory Alcoas. 4-wheel drive. It's got the factory extended cab fiberglass steps.
I love that the moldings aren't black; they're white.
Yes,
which only happened, if I'm not mistaken, in the half-ton series trucks.
Really,
and Broncos. I could be wrong, but I think. Well, I might take that back. I think I have seen it every once in a while in a crew cab, but it's very rare. I see it more in the half-ton stuff,
which is unique. I'm like, why would they do that?
I don't know. It looks so cool, and that color, those two colors, really go good together. I think.
Yeah,
being a colorblind guy.
Yeah, no,
the bumper's all dented to shit, like all bent down.
Oh yeah, that back bumper's twisted.
It is
both ways. Yep.
Both ways.
No, it is. I mean, it's like down on that side. And up
it got
on
taken.
The
it got taken twice. You know what? The driver's side looks good. The passenger side we're not sold on.
I would still buy this truck.
Would you?
So far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Not for the price tag.
What do they want for this thing?
$9,000.
You might be smoking crack, but that's all right. It's the brown. Uh-oh. We lost it. We lost visual. It's coming off the rails. Colin, you had one job.
We can...
Don't stress. We're wrapping this up. People saw it already. We're coming off the rails. Oh, it's a manual.
Oh, it is.
It's a manual. That's cool.
Is it a 351 truck? No, it doesn't say yet.
It doesn't say. Go through the pictures. Let's see.
I do like these steering wheels.
Yeah, I do too.
I think they're cooler.
They are kind of cool.
Yeah.
Half-ton steering wheels, the airbag in it.
Yeah.
It's a question if that age... And check out the fake wood trim.
That's Eddie Bauer, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your rich mahogany. It's like Ron Burgundy. I have many leather-bound books, rich mahogany, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which it's all there, which is cool.
It's all there. It looks pretty clean inside.
Yeah.
It's got power Nemo mirrors.
Which I think deserves on a half-ton truck.
Dude, my F-250 crew cab short bed has Nemo mirrors,
which I don't...
Unpowered.
Unpowered?
Yeah.
It's XLT.
Yeah. No power mirrors.
Wow. Some guy ordered that way. This is a nice truck. This isn't
Underside,
bad.
like, it doesn't...
No rust?
Yeah, nothing concerning.
Right.
Though it has had the exhaust replaced, I'm guessing it rusted out. Do we get a...
302.
302.
And it's a mass air truck. A win for all.
Where do you see the mass air?
When it goes to dual to single, that's a mass air truck.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is... That's if you're gonna have a gutless 302, you want it to be a mass air. Mass air trucks are rad. Hey, it's at Salem Motorsports or Auto Sports. There you go, everyone. Check them out. $178K on the clock.
Offer them $5,000.
Probably take it. They probably paid $3,000 for the truck as a trade-in or some bullshit. It's a good looking truck. It's not bad. Just needs some love.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're gonna end this lovely shit show.
Yes, we are.
It's getting late in the evening.
It is.
Colin needs to get home. He's got things to do. John, always a pleasure.
Always. This has been a good time. I'm stoked we're keeping up with it.
Well, let's not say it yet till we get a couple more consistently under our belt.
This is like round 3.
Well, that's true. That is true. Yeah, we'll just
we already have it on the schedule again.
Like I said, it's official.
You've seen my calendar. It's there.
It's on the schedule. And Colin says he's in on this, even though he sat through a couple of these. He's already kind of like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do this. Everyone, thanks so much for listening. I hope we entertained you guys. And if not, well, I don't know what to tell you. We'll try harder. Maybe.
We will.
I don't know. Anything else? Last words there, John?
I would say just send us any topics you'd like us to cover. Specifics great. Broad is good too.
Yeah.
Let us know, like we say on all of them, on the different social media platforms, preferably our Instagram would be ideal, or Spotify. And yeah, aside from that, like, subscribe, I don't know, all the things.
Yeah, do all the button pushing.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Share it.
Yeah.
And check out the Campfire Passport podcast.
Right. I mean, they talk about all kinds of stuff and they roast vehicles as well. So, I mean,
and it's a different genre, but
Right.
it's like off road and fun
and Colin says he talks shit all the time. So, I mean, I want to listen to it just for that.
totally. So,
Hey, John, always a pleasure.
same to you.
I'm your host, Devin, here with OBS Solutions.
I'm also your host, John with Carrot Customs, and you are listening to the Truckery Podcast.
Thanks, Colin. Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.